Okay.
Sir, am I audible?
Okay. You are audible.
Namaskar.
Madhusraba, from which law college you completed your law degree? You passed your law degree?
Sir, I did my LLB from National Law University, Ranchi, National University of Study and Research in Law, Ranchi.
Whether you have done any LLB degree or a postgraduate degree in the meantime?
Yes, sir, postgraduate degree. I did LLM from Hidayatullah National Law University, Raipur.
On which subject? What was the subject?
Sir, I had taken corporate law, in which we were taught contracts, arbitration, general principles of corporate law, what's that, and some other honor subjects with it.
What is a promissory note?
Sir?
What is promissory note?
Promissory note. So promissory note is an instrument which becomes payable in the name of the person that is drawn for.
Small. What is check?
Check is a negotiable instrument.
What is bill of exchange?
Bill of exchange is also a negotiable instrument, sir.
What is cross check?
Sorry, sir, I don't know cross check.
What is complaint?
Complaint is a allegation, accusation against a person who alleged to have committed an offense, and it is filed in case of both cognizable and non-cognizable cases.
Can there be oral complaint?
If the complaint is an oral, then it is taken down in writing.
What the magistrate will do after receiving the complaint petition?
After receiving the complaint, the magistrate can take cognizance upon the complaint under Section 190 CRPC.
The state magistrate will take complaint.
Sir, under Section 200, examination may also be done.
When a police officer can arrest without warrant?
Police officer can arrest without warrant in case of cognizable cases, and in that case, no order from the magistrate is required.
Is there any limitation for taking cognizance of an offense?
In certain cases, there are limitations for taking cognizance on offenses. It happens in offenses which are punishable with less than 3 years of imprisonment.
Suppose a punishment, an offense is punishable with fine. What is the period of limitation for taking cognizance?
6 months.
Can this limitation be condoned on any occasion?
Yes, it may be condoned if the delay is satisfactorily explained.
Suppose the magistrate received a complaint petition. While recording the statement of the complainant, the magistrate found that for similar facts, a police report has been given and the police investigation is pending. What the magistrate will do?
The magistrate may stay the proceedings and call for the records of the proceedings in the police case. And if the accused and the accused and the offenses, there's a similarity between both the cases, then they may be clubbed and tried together. If not, then if the person that is found to be accused in the police case is different, then the magistrate can proceed with trying the complaint case separately.
What is charge?
Charge charge is a formal and precise statement of accusation against a person who is said to have committed certain offenses.
In a warrant case, the magistrate tried without framing charge, and the case ended in conviction. Can the, can the convict claim for acquittal on the ground that the charge was not framed?
Framing of charges is important and in case of warrant cases. However, it is necessary to warrant acquittal in such cases that the accused must have been misled by the omission to frame charges, and grave injustice must have been caused to the accused.
What is robbery?
Robbery is either when there is theft or extortion, and theft amounts to robbery when during the commission of theft any hurt, wrongful restraint is caused to the person, and in case of extortion, if the person is in the presence of the person being extorted and causes instant fear of death, hurt, or wrongful restraint, then in that case it amounts to robbery.
X, a woman, had gone to the house of Y as a guest to attend a marriage ceremony. There she found a gold necklace and took that gold necklace and concealed at a place with an intention to take it after the ceremony is over. What offense she committed?
She has committed theft because she has dishonestly moved the object in order to take it later.
What is affray?
Affray is when public disturbance is caused by two persons or two or more persons.
What is abduction?
Abduction is making a person go from a place by force or compulsion or deception.
Kidnapping? What do you mean by kidnapping?
Kidnapping in under IPC is of two kinds, sir. Kidnapping can be from lawful guardianship or kidnapping from India. So when a person is removed from the territory of India, that is called kidnapping from India. And in case of lawful guardianship, if a person is removed from the keeping of his lawful guardian, parents, etc., without their consent, then it is kidnapping from lawful guardianship.
What is attested under the Transfer of Property Act?
I'm sorry, sir, I'm unable to recall that.
What is lease?
Lease is a kind of transfer of property where where limited amount of rights is transferred to the other person, and it can be in certain cases for certain purposes.
What is mortgage?
Mortgage is also transfer of property, and it is transferred to secure the performance of of any promise, or to pay off or as a security for payment of any debt.
What is exchange?
Exchange is also a transfer of property, and it can be one thing being transferred to another person in lieu of another thing.
What is universal doni?
Universal donee is a donee who receives all receives the entirety of the property from the donor, and that person has to accept the gift with all the rights and as well as liabilities that arise from it.
What is rule against perpetuity under the Transfer of Property Act?
Rule against perpetuity is that when a property is transferred to an unborn person, then it cannot be tied up in perpetuity in such a manner that it does not vest in a person, or it cannot be alienated. So in that, that is called rule against perpetuity. So there has to be a definite amount of time within which it has to vest in the unborn person,
What is the
which is
definite
uh,
amount of time?
uh, life of the life of the previous life interest owner, or majority of the uh, age of majority of the
What is
do-
vested interest?
vested interest is when a transfer of property has happened and the right has already vested in the transferee, and it is thus inheritable and transferable.
What is estoppel?
Estoppel is when a person, due to his own conduct or promise, is barred from doing something which would be in contradiction to his earlier statement or earlier act and conduct.
What is doctrine of feeding the grant by estoppel? If you are aware, where on in which subject it is found?
Doctrine of feeding the grant is found in Transfer of Property Act. It means that when a person has professed to transfer a property to some person, but he does not at that present moment have the right to transfer that property, but later he gains the right in a transferable right in that property, that he can no longer be allowed to say that because of the lack of my right in transferring the property, I will not be able to transfer the property. So he's stopped from denying the transfer to the other person on the basis of lack of his own title.
X is the tenant, Y is the landlord. After termination of this tenancy, there was a dispute between X and Y regarding that leased house. Can X, if X is permitted, or this principle of estoppel is applicable for the pleading of the X, pleading of X, that Y is not the owner of
I'm
the
sorry,
house.
sir, could you repeat the question?
X is the tenant, Y is the landlord. After termination of tenancy, whether the rule of estoppel will be applicable in a suit between X and Y.
Yes, sir. After the relationship of landlord and tenancy has ended, a challenge to title may be entertained.
What is a privileged communication?
A privileged communication is a kind of communication that happens between two persons and is stopped from being, and that person is not allowed to give evidence in court regarding that communication. And this is by virtue of the nature of the relationships between the two persons.
Can there be a conviction basing on the sole testimony of a person?
Yes, sir,
Testimony
there
of a
can be.
single person?
Yes, sir. There is no requirement of any particular number of witnesses under the Indian Evidence Act.
Who is a victim under the Criminal Procedure Code?
A victim is any person who has suffered any loss or injury due to the acts of the accused person, and it includes legal representatives and parents of the person who has undergone through such loss or injury.
What is restitution of conjugal right?
Restitution of conjugal rights is a right that accrues by virtue of marriage to the spouses. That is when the other spouse withdraws from the company of the spouse without any ostensible and reasonable reason, then the court may be approached to grant restitution of conjugal rights so as to order resumption of cohabitation between the two partners.
When there will be a divorce by mutual consent?
Divorce by mutual consent can happen when two parties approach the court uh, and both of them are willing to end their relationship in that case.
Further, maintenance can be given to the husband in a matrimonial proceeding under the Hindu Marriage Act.
Under the Hindu Marriage Act, there is no provision for giving maintenance to the husband.
What is legal disability under the Limitation Act?
I am unable to answer that, sir.
X was coming on the last day of limitation to file a suit. He met with an accident. He was bedridden for 3 days. Thereafter, he came and filed the suit with an application on Section 5 of the Limitation Act, condemned to be made. Whether that will be allowed?
To file a suit, Limitation Act has very strict provisions, and it does not rest on the discretion of the judge to extend uh, or condone delays in such cases unless they fall under the exceptions that are under the Act.
Thank you. I will give you the feedback after the interview done by the second panelist.
Good afternoon, Madhusraba.
Good afternoon, sir.
Okay, tell me what is the difference between robbery and extortion?
Robbery, the difference between robbery and extortion is that in only certain cases, extortion can amount to robbery, and not all extortions are robbery. In extortion, any person is put in fear of instant fear in order to cause him to deliver certain kind of property. But if that fear caused is while the person who is causing the extortion is in his presence, and the fear caused is of instant death or hurt or wrongful restraint, in that case, the extortion will amount to robbery.
Suppose you put someone under pressure, okay, under threat, under pressure, or under criminal intimidation to deliver some property to you. Okay, you have made an attempt, but the property has not been delivered. Can you say that the extortion has been committed?
Yes, sir.
Under which provision?
383.
You filed an application before the executive magistrate under section 144 of CRPC. Okay, and the magistrate has passed an order under section 144(2) of CRPC, keeping in view of the factual aspects of your case. Okay, notice has been served upon the opposite party, but he has not obeyed the order of the executive magistrate. Okay, what relief do you have?
I am unable to answer that question. Sorry, sir.
Okay, whether a magistrate can grant bail to an accused when the prescribed punishment for the offence is life imprisonment?
Yes, sir. Bail may be granted.
Under which provision?
437.
Whether the police can seize the immovable property?
I'm unable to answer that question, sir.
Okay. Two persons entered into a criminal conspiracy to kill someone or to commit any sort of offense. Okay, but they could not conclude, or they could not complete that offense. Offense could not be materialized due to some other reason. Whether they can be convicted or they are liable to be prosecuted.
Yes, criminal conspiracy to do any kind of offense is punishable by virtue of the agreement itself, and no act need be accomplished.
Whether the rejection of plaint is appellable?
Yes, sir.
What are the distinctions between appeal and revision under the Code of Criminal Procedure?
Appeal is a creation of statute, and only under the only the enumerated specific orders can be appealed against, but revision can be made in other any kind of order, but, except interlocutory orders.
What is an interlocutory order?
Interlocutory order is anything which addresses the day-to-day proceedings of the case and decides matters of the temporary and more of a procedural nature, without touching upon the final rights and merits of the case.
Under which provision of the CRPC the interlocutory order finds place?
I'm unable to answer that question, sir.
Okay, what is zero FIR?
Zero FIR is a kind of FIR only. FIR is mandatory to be registered. So in case a place is up for registration of FIR, the approach is made to a place where there is no jurisdiction, but they are still mandated to write down a FIR. So they will not enumerate it. They will not give a registration number to it. That is why it's called a zero FIR.
What is protest petition?
Protest petition is filed when there is a closure report and the police decides to not investigate a case. In that case, a protest petition may be filed against the closure of the investigation in a matter.
Which provisions of the Indian Penal Code deals with the justifiable acts?
Chapter 4, section 87.
And the excusable acts?
Excusable are 92.
Okay. 10 persons were charged for offense under section 302 and 149 of IPC. 10 persons. Okay. Out of which 6 persons were acquitted. What will the fate of the other 4 persons?
If I may, sir, 10 persons were...
10 persons were charged under section 302, reduced 149 of Indian Penal Code. Out of which 6 persons have been acquitted. What will the fate of the next 4 persons who are facing the trial?
They will also be acquitted, and the charge cannot be sustained unless there are other unnamed persons in the charge, which they weren't in this case.
Why?
Because for unlawful assembly, at least 5 persons are necessary.
Okay, let's twist it. Okay, 10 persons are charged for offense under section 302 and 149 of IPC, which has been committed by only 1 person. And out of the 10, 9 except the one who has actually committed the offense were acquitted. The person who actually committed the crime, whether he can be convicted or not.
If it is proved that he has committed a crime, the specific crime under section 302, then he may be convicted only for under section 302 and without adding the charge of section 149.
In which case the constitutional validity of section 497 was tested.
I'm unable to answer that question, sir.
Can a complaint petition be amended?
I'm sorry, sir, I don't know.
Okay. What is a decree?
A decree is a final determination of issues between the parties in front of a competent court.
Whether appeal can be preferred from an order?
Yes, there are certain appealable orders which are enumerated and laid down in CPC itself, and in those cases, those orders may be appealed against.
CPC in which provision of CPC?
In order 43, let's skip it.
What are the powers of an executing court?
The executing court, without going into the merits of the decree, can answer any other questions that arise regarding the decree that it has to execute between the parties.
What is the distinction between void and voidable marriage?
A void marriage is void ab initio, it is a nullity in the eyes of law, and voidable marriage is valid as long as the court is not approached for declaring it a void marriage.
What are the differences between judicial separation and divorce?
Judicial separation does not dissolve the marriage per se, and in that case cohabitation may be resumed, and but in case of in case of divorce, it is the end of the legal effects of the marriage. So for instance, during subsistence of judicial separation order, if any death happens, then the widow will be entitled to inherit. But in case of divorce, all mutual rights between the parties cease to exist.
Which provisions of the CRPC deals with the search of a person who has been wrongfully confined?
I'm unable to recall that at this moment, sir.
Okay. What is an order under CPC?
I'm unable to answer that question.
Okay. What do you mean by abatement?
Abatement. Hello.
Yes, yes. You are
Sorry,
audible.
there was some kind of interruption. Abatement of a thing can be done by either intentionally aiding or instigating a person to do that thing, or by conspiring to do a certain thing. And when it is the act that is aided or instigated for or conspired for is an offense, then it is called abatement of an offense.
What are the ingredients of section 306 of IPC?
Of IPC requires unable to recall that, sir.
What are the powers of an appellate court under the CRPC?
The appellate court has very wide powers under the CRPC. It can sit and appeal over both the acquittal or conviction of the accused. It can also decide the matters of whether the sentence should be enhanced. And in case of appeals against conviction, it can grant orders of acquittal also. And in case of appeal against lesser punishment or severe punishment, the court can, while maintaining the finding of the lower court, can change the nature of the sentence or increase or decrease the punishment that is sentenced.
What are the provisions governing the cancellation of bail?
Cancellation of bail is provided for under 439 of CRPC, where Sessions and High Court can cancel a bail. Under 436 also, a bail may be cancelled if the person does not appear in adherence to his bail. That's all I can recall, sir.
Whether the court can sell the perishable property which has been seized during the course of investigation?
Yes, sir, the court.
Under which provision?
I'm unable to recall that, sir.
What is bail?
Bail is releasing or enlarging a person who is accused of an offense, while taking assurance that he will appear and cooperate in the due process of the case.
Can a magistrate pass an order punishing an accused For imprisonment, rigorous imprisonment for life.
Life imprisonment is more or less always of the nature of rigorous imprisonment, sir.
Good. Whether it can be passed by a magistrate.
Magistrate is not empowered to pass life imprisonment, sir.
Take the case of section 409 of IPC. Okay. It is triable by magistrate first class. After the conclusion of trial, whether the magistrate can grant on successful completion of a prosecution when the magistrate finds guilt and accused punishable under section 409 of IPC, can he deliver a verdict as a judgment punishing the accused, sentencing him life imprisonment?
I'm not sure about it, sir. Sorry.
What is a public document?
I'm unable to answer that, sir.
Okay. My learned sir will give you the feedback, then thereafter I will give you the feedback. Okay?
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir, there is
Okay, Madhusraba, your concept is clear. Don't be hurry while answering. You be take pause and answer. By that, you will get less number of questions. If you hurriedly answer a particular question, answer, then immediately interviewer will get time to frame another question. Don't answer in a hurry. In a normal manner, you answer because you are having some this LLM degree in this corporate matter. So I put a question: what is promissory note? Promissory note is an instrument in writing containing an unconditional undertaking to pay a certain sum of money only to the bearer or to him. At least you have to know it. It is a document in writing containing an unconditional undertaking signed by the maker to pay a certain sum of money, kebbal money only to some person. Check. Check is a bill of exchange issued on a bank. First, you should know what is check. Check is a bill of exchange issued on a bank. What is bill of exchange? Bill of exchange is a document containing an unconditional direction. It is a document directing something, directing a signed by the maker, directing a person to pay certain money on behalf of that person to another. When you issue check, that is a bill of exchange. You direct the bank where your account stands to pay certain money from your behalf to that person. Probably your concept will be clear: promissory note, check, and bill of exchange.
Yes, sir.
Cross check, when there is two lines is put in the cross check, that is to be paid in account only. So in account pay check only is called cross check. Two
Sorry, sir.
parallel
If
line,
you could just repeat the last line. Somebody was knocking on the door. So sorry.
cross check. You mean to know cross check?
Yes, sir. Yes.
When on the check two parallel lines are drawn, then the amount of that check will be paid in an account pay, not personally it will be paid to the person. So that is called cross check. Did you
So,
follow?
sir,
Yes.
should we have these basic definitions clarity regarding papers that we have not taken in our optionals also, like NI
No,
Act and
because your subject is corporate law. That's why I put these questions. Otherwise, not. You are in
okay,
that
sir.
field. You have special knowledge, more knowledge.
Okay, sir.
That is the thing. Otherwise, this question would not have been asked to you.
Yeah, okay, sir.
Okay. Complaint. Complaint in an allegation, either orally or in writing to a magistrate with a view to take action under the Criminal Procedure Code against a known or unknown person who has committed an offense. That is complaint. Magistrate will do what is after receiving complaint petition. Magistrate will see whether the complaint is made jurisdiction to entertain the complaint within the jurisdiction of the local jurisdiction of the magistrate. If the offence has been committed, then he will examine the complainant and record his initial statement as per section 200. He may also examine witnesses as per section 202 of the CRPC, and thereafter he may take cognizance, issue summons or warrant to the accused. Then police officer arrest without warrant, a cognizable offence complying the provision from section 41 to 60 of the CRPC. Limitation for taking, there is limitation for 68 for fine 6 months, 1 year, up to 3 years, 3 years. That is exceeding that, you go through it. This is only informative. Only you should know. Then delay can be condoned in certain cases. The magistrate is empowered to delay condone. Complaint is police report. When a police report is given after investigation that a non-cognizable offence has been committed, that will be treated as complaint petition. And in such case, the police will be the complainant. Yes. Charge is the accusation in brief to the accused regarding the commission of the offence by him. That is this. What is charge? Charge not framed. Error in charge will not vitiate the trial if the accused has not prejudice. If accused has cross-examined everything, that is 464 of the CRPC. Such a provision is there. Robbery, either theft is robbery, extortion is. While committing theft or at the time of carrying out the theft property, the offender for that causes any harm or wrongful intent, etc. That is robbery. Extortion is robbery when at the time of fear of instant hurt, instant death, is grievous hurt is given. That is robbery. Concealing gold necklace, you are correct. You answered it correctly. Affray, two or more persons fight in a public place, disturbing public peace. That is affray. Abduction, when a person by force or by deceitful means induces a person to go from one place to another place, that is abduction. Kidnapping of two types: one kidnapping from lawful guardianship and kidnapping from India. When a person takes or entices any minor, a boy below 16 years of age, a female below 18 years of age, or an insane person from the lawful guardianship of that person. That is kidnapping from lawful guardianship. Whoever conveys any person beyond India without that person consent, that is kidnapping from India. Attested, it is a very common thing. You should know. Attested means two or more witnesses who have seen the executant signing the document in their presence, or who have received acknowledgement from that person regarding that they have signed it. They have signed it. Then that is attested, and they should sign in presence of the executor. Then attested lease. Lease is a transfer of right to enjoy property for certain period in lieu of payment of rent or periodical payment, or paying for price called premium. Mortgage is a transfer of an interest. Some keyword you have to remember. An interest on a specific immovable property as security for payment of debt or loan. That is mortgage. Exchange when two persons mutually exchange the ownership of one property for the ownership of another property, and both properties are not money, or either property is not money, then that is exchange. Then universal donee, when the entire all the properties of the donor is gifted are gifted to the donee, that donee is called universal donee. Then rule against perpetuity, but the vesting of property or transfer of property cannot be detained beyond a certain period. That is the more than the effect. Two, not you told that when a property is transferred to one person, never transferred for the benefit of one person. That should be your answer. When property is transferred for the benefit of one person, that can be transferred to an intermediary who is living. And the vesting of property cannot be delayed beyond the lifetime of that intermediary and the minority of the person. That on one person. That is rule against perpetuity. Vested interest, when an interest is created in favor of a person which will take without specifying the time when it will take effect, or that it will take effect forthwith, or on the happening of an event which must happen, then such interest is called vested interest. Then estoppel, if a person by his act, declaration or omission has made another person to believe a particular a thing to be true, and on that belief somebody has acted upon, then in a suit he cannot deny the truth of the same. This is a rule of evidence. Doctrine of feeding the grant by estoppel, that is, if a person who has no title, he represents that he has title and transfer that property to another, and during subsistence of their transfer, if he acquires title, then that this by applying the doctrine of estoppel, the transfer will get a good title to that. That is doctrine of feeding the grant by estoppel. Then is this, you have the potentiality, you can crack, but be calm, and when you do not know a particular matter, very politely you are also saying, sir, I do not recollect my memory. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Madhusraba, you answered in a very well manner, but when you are not confident about any answer, don't tell it. And when you are answering to any of the questions, be specific to the question. What question is being asked by someone? Okay, be specific to the, because we are dealing with the statute. But the definition has been provided under the statute, we have to give the specific answer. Okay, if you don't know the answer, it's okay. Just tell the jury that I don't know the answer, or you may keep quiet, but don't give the wrong answer. Don't try to deviate from the original answer. Okay, suppose I am asking about any definition. So if you know the definition clause, simply you tell it. I asked you that the powers of the appellate court. If you know what are the powers of the appellate court, give the specific answers with respect to the statute where it has been defined that these are the powers which has been enumerated under this provision, and these are the powers of the appellate court. So give the specific answers. Okay, as stated by sir, that a very important thing that his sir has stated you that don't be in a hurry mood, because as fast as you will answer, then the interviewer will ask you the much more questions. And so far as your expertise is the corporate law, you try to hit only you have to have a very specific, you have to play a very specific rule so far as the negotiable instrument act is concerned, the transfer of property or the contract act, like that. Okay, but you have answered in a very good manner. All the best.
Sir, what about the other two subjects like general principles that we don't have in judiciary at all? So do I have to take at least a bird's eye view of that?
General principles means
General principles of corporate law, as in Companies Act. They have like
no, you
they
may
have the
face such
corporate
questions.
civil.
You may, the basic fundamentals you have to go through, because you may face such type of questions because your expertise is under the corporate law. So just go through the basic fundamentals. Okay. All the best. Take care.
Thank you, sir. I just had one question about the dress code and everything is fine. Like play.
Okay. It's fine.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.